Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. I am a Loremaster, and today we will keep this brief. Part 3 of my talk on planes. Here today to talk about the outer planes. We have 9 planes, 4 side tangents, and 9 dragons before us. It's going to be a long one. Let's do this. First up, let's spend about 3 or 4 minutes in heaven. Start with the traits. See the last 2 videos if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Gravity and time are normal. Size is immeasurable. Structure is lasting. Essence is mixed. Alignment is strongly lawful and strongly good, with lawful or good magic becoming enhanced and chaotic or evil magic becoming impeded. Most of these are similar, even if I will still go through it each time, so feel free to zone out for the first 30 seconds each time if you feel like it. Heaven is a large mountain made up of 7 tiers, each devoted to various ideas of righteousness. I'll not go into them. I could make individual videos about each of the planes if Paizo gives us enough information in the future. One thing I should mention, as it is going to be important this week, is compasses. Here, compasses work normally. I know, you're probably confused, but wait a few planes and you will get it. Anyway, going over the main show this week, the gods, who do favor the outer planes. Without spending too much time on them, the gods Iomedae, Aristal, and Torg call heaven home. With Torg comes the entire dwarf pantheon. The TNZ deities Shizuru and Tsukio also live here, on opposite sides of the mountain to continue their tragic separate lover stick. Finally, Varus and Thermal lords, the celestial demigods, call heaven home. For some specific locations where one enters heaven, there are 2 big ones. The first is to just teleport in and wind up in the Alabaster Passage, where legions of battle-ready angels will detain you, unless you truly are lawful good. The other is the town of Heaven's Shore, the one place in heaven open to outsiders, which is not that far from the front gate. The front gate you can only get through if you are lawful good. Your pattern. For those who are actually lawful good, a place I would like to note is Merlin, the city of justice seekers. For those who do not worship a particular god, but are so perfect heaven could not turn them away at every gate. But even on the busiest days, we still have time for side tangents. Let's get started on today's first side tangent, the part of the show where all my viewers judge me. Today, I want to go into one location on heaven that stands out among the others. The Grand Court of Heaven is located on the 6th layer of heaven, and is where all of heaven's laws are formatted. This court's duty is not simply to decide where guilt in the case lies, but to look at what goodness is. The court examines various ethical problems, the more difficult the better, and constantly adjusts when the meaning of good is, eventually creating what is binding law in heaven and good guidelines for other good aligned planes and deities. The court is manned by 71 angels, Aquans, Thermal lords, and some deities, though we don't have any specific names as far as my research could find. The court also has 77 lower courts which examine various cases around the plane, to be appealed to the Grand Court if the question is grand enough. 3 of these have jurisdiction over Galarian star system. The one adventurers and ethermortals will most likely find themselves in is the 77th, which is a demi-plane wrapped in 4 angelic rings. See, still related to the topic. Moving back on Curse, we have Nirvana. This large expanse of wilderness is filled with inhabitants in various animal-like forms. Gravity and time are normal, size is immeasurable, structure is lasting, essence is mixed, alignment is strongly good, and good magic is enhanced, but bad is impeded. Well, evil is impeded, not bad. This land is said to hold many secrets to higher levels of thought and various kinds of enlightenment, making it an interesting place for adventurers, especially with so many of its inhabitants willing to test them. God-wise, the two big main names are Senrei and Shaylin, with the minor god Kurgas, the Tien gods, Daiketsu and Kizong, and various ephemeral lords populating the area. The big landmark is Senrei's domain, the Everlight, a star that shines above the plain, and a point which serves as a north for compasses. Here, north is referred to as sunward, south is Widdershins, east is dawnward, and west is duskward. See, compasses are important. We'll get to more interesting ones in a little bit. The closest landmark to the Everlight is the Dragonmane Mountains, which has the two main cities of the plain, High Nishbar and Loreth. Finally is the Sea of No Shadow, a mass of water where sunlight reaches every point of the bottom. Here, various ephemeral lords make their domains across the coastline. If not told specifically where one has their domain, just assume they have a vacation home here. Another step more chaotic, we head to Elysium. Here, gravity and time are normal, size is measurable, structure is lasting, essence is mixed, alignment is strongly good and chaotic, with good and chaotic magic is enhanced, and lawful and evil is inhibited. Elysium, the Promised Land, is a place of vibrant forest mountains, where all the dangers like lack of oxygen and lack of light at the bottom of the ocean are non-existent. Feel free to explore anywhere. Many chaotic neutral deities make this area their home, as well as chaotic good. So we have a few more here than usual. So for main gods, we have Desna and Kalin, as well as Calistria and Grom. More minor, we have Melani and the Tien deity Kafusachi. And as well as ephemeral lords, we have this being the home of the elfin deities and giant deities, or at least the giants who have not been exiled for being evil. The main city outside of the gods' domains is Emerald Song, a tent city created by thousands of Azatas, settling down to tell stories and drink until they get bored and move to another location. Here, stories are worth 1 gold, and a few good epics will allow you to live like a king. Other landmarks include the boundless Azure Ocean, a large ocean that expands all the way to the Maelstrom. The Witchwood, a vast forest of every kind of plant. And the Starlit Grotto, a benevolent underground area which reaches dangerously close to the abyss. One more, the Senosure, is not only the realm of Desna, but also this plains north. Now, with good out of the way, we move back to lawful side of the scale with Axis, the perfect city. Starting with traits, gravity and time are normal, size is finite, first up such today, by the way. Structures are lasting, essence is mixed, alignment is strongly lawful, and lawful magic is enhanced while chaotic magic is impeded. Before modern life began, this place was once a large desert. However, as soon as murders and laws were established, this landmass broke from the Maelstrom, with cities beginning to rise up until it became the one city made of 1,000 it currently is. Axis established itself as one of the outer planes through many wars, with 3 standing out in particular: The first were against the Proteans, which led to the creation of the first Inevitables, and their demigod-level fighters, the Prominent Inevitables. The second was the war between the gods and the Titans. The third was to turn away the Rogue Beast Robogug. I think I said Rogue. Outside of the Prominent Inevitables, the other gods here are Abadar, Iori, and Norgabur. Yes, the neutral evil god of thieves. Perfect city, everyone. And her deities include Brig, Milani again, she has 2 domains, and the gods that survived the destruction of Aslan, Lysala, along with the city-loving halfling pantheon. This was also the home of Eredin. His realm, the Empty Court, still exists untouched even after the last 100 years. Another powerful being is the God Mind, which, despite its name, is not a deity, but instead a collective subconscious of all the Axomites who serve as the central decision-making body of the realm. Outside the city, the original wasteland still exists, providing a barrier against the Maelstrom. Finally, compasses point to the most important part of the city, which currently is Abaddon's first vault. Before we move on, it's time for side tangent number 2, dealing with the species associated with Axis, even if not the natives of the plane. Mocanes. These 10-foot tall, blue-skinned, multi-eyed, 3-fingered humanoids are said to have arrived long ago in order to establish trade in the City of Civilization. Where they originally came from is unknown, but they have now made the Eternal City their home. But actually, any plane tends to have a few Mocanes running around. Every large city worth its salt have at least one amongst their stalls. They treat contracts as if they were holy documents, and only have interest in trading in magical items, keeping them in their own unique personal bags of holding, the chests of the Mocanes. Therefore, they tend to keep a decent amount of bodyguards around with them in to ensure their wares remain intact. Make sure to look for one of these interdimensional merchants next time you head to your local market. Moving back to plains, where you can usually find some Mocanes. Next we have the Boneyard. The spire in the center of existence is the end point of the River of Souls, where all the souls of the dead are judged in order to best send them to their final rewards. Here, gravity is normal, time is timeless, size is immeasurable, structures are lasting, essence is mixed, alignment is strong and neutral, and magic, which involves death, is enhanced. God-wise, the entire plane belongs to Formosa and her psychopomp and psychopomp ushers. In addition, the god Grodus hangs as the moon in the sky, and Akakek rests within the base of the tower. The main physical feature is Formosa Central Court, which itself is surrounded by 8 smaller but still mile-long courts, which connect to each one of the outer planes. Each of these courts is designed for those who desire to go to each of the domains to leave offerings or meet with their welcoming god from their plane. The only exception, of course, is Abaddon. No one really goes to Abaddon. Either way, Formosa Central Spire is where you will find the plane's north. However, here, north is referred to as death, south is life, east is before, and west is after. Next is the big one, the Maelstrom. This region is a mixture of pure chaos, from which most of the other planes were formed and broke away from. Gravity depends on where you are. Time is erratic. The size is measurable. That's not that much different. Structure is morphic. Essence is mixed. alignment is strongly chaotic, and magic is wild. In summation, anything that does not need a rule functions without one. A majority of the plane is made up of a sea of pure quintessence, the breakdown of the energy which all things are made. One of the main physical features of the region, the antipode, is a drain which sends the pure energy on its journey back to the inner planes, where it is used to create new souls. Another landmark of note is the city of Gillisemne, a city of not quite anarchy, kept stitched together by individual agreements of the various groups who live there. Going to the gods, there are many who have nowhere else to go, who claim one of the many islands of the plains as their own. One of the most powerful is Nethys. More minor powers include the pirate goddess Bismara, the river god Hensper, the suicide goddess in hiding Naderi, the goddess of secrets Sivana. The former realm of Yggdrasil remains here, waiting for its former lord to find its head. There is one island, Yanjura, ruled by a trinity of Tianchi gods, Haifong, Nalinivati, I can never say that, because you snake names, Nalinivati, and Yamatsumi. Rumours son Wukong also hangs here when he is not exploring the material plane. Finally, the demigods we have are the Proton Lords and the Orcish Pantheon. And then, the single strongest god of the area, the Maelstrom itself. Design tangent number 3. The Proteans worship a mysterious presence they claim as their creator, the Speaker of the Depths. The various courses that the Protons travel in, and the Proton Lords themselves, claim to follow the will of the unseen entity which is thought to be the conscious will of the plane itself. Attempts to describe the speaker through the use of concepts like gender or numbers is a quick way to get you laughed at by the worshippers. There are 2 accounts of their manifestation. First, from the Protons, who give information describing the being as 2 serpents intertwined, constantly creating and devouring both the world around them and themselves. The second is from the enemies of the plane, the inevitables and devils who try to fight against the pure chaos of the plane. A large, hungry thing which the Protons can call to devour their enemies at any time. A creature with thousands of eyes and hundreds of heads. The mouth of a giant golden serpent. Whatever it is, the speaker's followers are also always Proteans. Well, almost always Proteans. Worshippers of the pure chaos outside the species being a rarity. Now we move on to the evil plane. We are in the home stretch. Starting off, we have Hell. Here, gravity and time are normal, size is measurable, structure is lasting, essence is mixed, alignment is strongly lawful and strongly evil, with lawful and evil magic enhanced and good and chaotic magic imputed. This fire pit was once controlled by the Azores, the Titans, and the Chitons. Well, Vestas should have mentioned their true name when I mentioned them for the Shadow Planes. This is my correction. However, devils, when they were exiled from their original planes and fell, managed to take this place with the help of the traitorous former Ashura Greon. That was almost a tongue twister. They rearranged Hell into 9 rings, with an unofficial 10th being between 2 others for the Azores to call home, and various domains outside the rings. One physical feature to note are the Hellmouths, intelligent snake-like artifacts that act as portals, even to the planes, and are commanded by powerful devils. In terms of deities, Hell has a strict hierarchy. Asmodeus is the only god, the central ring taken for himself, his throne this realm's north. He is served by the archdevils who rule the other 8 rings. Other devil demigods are the Infernal Dupes, the Maelstrom, and the Queens of the Night. As mentioned earlier, the Asuras and the demigods, the Ashura Ranis, still have their own space in Hell. Other deities include the Devil Dragon Durak, the fallen giant gods Minderhal and Zeus Vater, almost as bad as snake names, Zeus Vater, and the Tianchi deities General Susumu and Ye Hing. And one more goddess, bringing us to our final side tangent. Erakura, the goddess of dedication, mind reading, and subtlety. This goddess was once a mortal soothsayer of her master, who stole from her the secrets of divinity and was banished to Hell. Here, she eventually found her way to the city of Dis and its ruler, Dispata. She is Dispata's current wife. We covered one of his ex-wives in the Elemental Planes video if you missed it. Under the contract where she is able to have her own domain within this and is able to exercise authority as she sees fit. Therefore, she has her own domain, Eleusis, home of various norms, pets, and unusual for Hell, vegetation. Dispata loves her enough that he is willing to keep to the actual spirit of their wedding vows, and not just the words. Because of this, he will ask her to arbitrate disputes in his stead, even at times that she does not ask to. She's also the one you want to go to if you want a favor from Dispata. It is said that Asmodeus highly values her skills at diplomacy, and plans to call on her if Hell should ever find itself in an unwinnable battle. Moving on, the least popular plane, Abaddon, a region bathed in eternal eclipse, where those who are the most evil are given the reward they deserve. For traits, gravity and time are normal, size is immeasurable, structure is lasting, essence is mixed, alignment is evil, with evil magic being enhanced, and good magic imputed. The main landmark of this region is River Styx, the memory-eating river manned by Thanadaemons, both men who will allow one to cross, at the right price. All know not to disrupt the Thanadaemons at work. Other locations include the Silent Nation, a frozen ocean containing all of the living souls who used to live in it, slowly sliding in towards the River Styx. The giant negative energy spewing volcano known as the White Mountain. And the largest city, the slave city of awaiting consumption, a city that makes no attempts to disguise its one purpose is to sell living creatures as slaves. For deities, this plane is ruled not by any of the 20 main deities, but the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and their followers, the demonic harbingers. There are 2 deities that the horsemen have made deals with to be allowed to live here, Ogathora and Xiphus. The leader of the Divs, Oimon, also claims dominion here, as well as 2 Tianchi deities, Fumiyoshi and La Shupo. There is also legend that there was once a being the 4 horsemen served, the Oeno Daemon, before they betrayed him. whether he is dead, or whether he is imprisoned only to return one day, is a question many fear the answer of. And finally, the abyss. Now, for the last time. Gravity and time are normal. Size is measurable. Structure is sentient? That's probably not good. Essence is mixed. Alignment is strongly evil and strongly chaotic, with evil and chaotic magic being enhanced, and lawfully good magic being impeded. This plane is a large set of caverns, each domain of a demon more or less functioning as its own demiplane. There is also a variety of caverns called endless rifts, which are offshoots of the main abyss that go nowhere. Of all the endless locations of the abyss, let's talk about two of them briefly. One, the Rift of Repose, is a territory to no demon lord, instead being where the dead are laid to rest in a giant petrified pit. Another is Yad Ignoth, the area that the Kliptoth still hold after the demons took the abyss for themselves. This cavern goes deep, with what truly lies at its depths being unknown to all. In terms of gods, Loremaster is the only demon who has become fully god who still retains a realm in the abyss. I purposely left out one Edda. She gets her own video. Eventually. Edda gods include Camazotz, as mentioned last week, the disgraced dwarf god Droskar, two other minor deities, Guflander and Girona, the Tianchi deity Lady Naboyo, and the demigods of the demon lords, Nassau demon lords, Kliptoth lords, and the 4 goblin hero gods. And with that, we are done with all the other planes, which leaves us with one last topic, the plane of dragons. Like the historic dragons we had last time, these we do not have as much information on, so we will be going into their abilities. Unlike last week, we have 9 dragons. Let's go. Before we jump in, these dragons all have extra immunities as opposed to those of the regular dragons. I will not be going into each of these individually, but they are there if you want to look them up yourself. First from heaven, we have Paradise Dragons. Fingers to keep track. I don't need them, but they're here today. Let's see. Paradise Dragons. These dragons are protectors of the faithful, working to protect innocents wherever they can. They have force breath weapons. Like last week, we don't get specifics on each type of breath, and have the power to travel at 90 degrees and send outsiders back to their home planes. And also subject the target to bull rush. It also has the power to resurrect the dead souls, giving them another chance of redemption. Second from Nirvana, the Bliss Dragons. These dragons consider themselves wardens of nature, protecting refugees within their own personal areas of protection. The breath weapon is electric, which can leave behind an aftercharge and can do non-lethal damage. In addition, they have various healing powers, including Lay on Hands, Break Enchantment, Greater Restoration, Resurrection, and various Paladin Mercies. Third, from Elysium, the Havoc Dragons. I did not do a finger for the last dragons. Inconsistency and the jankiest show on the web. Anyway, these insect-winged dragons consider themselves artists, shaping the world around them to their whims. Their breath weapons are sonic and can cause confusion. They have long spindly tails, which hit 3 times harder than the usual dragon's tail, can reach farther, and can trip. Finally, they have various performance skills, and can manipulate the emotions of those around them. Fourth, from Axis, Edict Dragons. They bring civilization wherever they go. The breath causes slashing damage, creates stone pikes, and affects those hit with a command. They are known for their wings, which can be used as shields, and they can make 4 additional attacks with them than usual. They also have various abilities at marking opponents with and using runes. Fifth, the halfway point, from the Boneyard, the Crypt Dragons. These creatures are protectors of the River of Souls and tend to bring souls of the greatest of heroes and villains to the master themselves. Their breath is negative energy, or positive energy if you are undead, and rots the flesh of those it hits. These dragons are most known for using their large bodies to entomb their targets, paralyzing them, and potentially turning them to stone. 6. The Tumult Dragons of the Maelstrom. These creatures go to the places that interest them, then, when they get bored, change the planar traits of that area. Their breath can be acid, cold, electric, fire, or sonic. Change it up to keep things interesting. It reduces the hardness of objects and transforms those hit as per polymorph. 7th, from Hell, the Infernal Dragon. These dragons enjoy collecting legions of followers to mock and torment for their own enjoyment. Their breath weapon is Hellfire, which reduces the morale of those hit and condemns souls of the dead to death. Well, souls of the dead to hell. They're already dead. They can protect themselves from divination, summon a contract demon to defend them, and invoke Firestorm and Meteor Storm. 8th, from Abaddon, we have the Apocalypse Dragon. These creatures are covered in runes and destroy anything that where life grows. Their breath weapon deals cold damage and causes the disease Slimy Doom. Yes, that's what it's called. They have no wing attacks because of the damage to their wings, and their long bodies, which they use to constrict around people's bodies, which spreads their Slimy Doom and stops those killed that way from easily being resurrected. And finally, from the depths of the abyss, Rift Dragons. These creatures cause enough damage many worship them as gods of destruction. Their breath is potent acid that destroys humanoids, destroys objects, acts as disintegrate, and smells bad. They also trample over anything in their way, utterly crushing foolish mortals beneath their feet. And that is everything. We have talked all we can when it comes to planes. Not really. Next week, in part 4 of our 3-part series, I will talk about some of the most interesting demi-planes. Because apparently this was not enough. Oh well, it will be more chill next week, even if it does end up being just as long. Hopefully I don't get messed up and rambling close to the end as I have been today. I can feel it. Anyway, either way, last week was PazoCon, and they gave us a lot of nice titles. Gave me a lot of books I can't wait to devour, and a lot of topics that I won't be able to talk about for a while, either because the information is about to become obsolete or because I don't want to release a video on a topic right after the book comes out. Oh well, I already have this month pretty much planned out. As they say, one topic at a time, or 6 if you will operate like I operate. Anyway, yeah.